So we're here, second day. We've got the base coat down, flake down. Looking good so far. What's your steps from here, Chris?
Okay, well the first step is to, we take down the plastic, but one thing about the plastic, it's a little bit of a breeze today. You can imagine if we didn't have that there, there'd be flake all over the driveway. It'd be a hell of a mess before we even start. So that's one of the key benefits of having plastic up. So we remove the plastic, we use a Stanley knife to cut along the front edge, and then we go about scraping up the flake. And there's a system or a pattern that I use to cover the floor. We do what we call a cross scrape, so we're going at right angles, and then we scrape around the edge to knock down any flake that might be sitting up on the bead that we put on yesterday. Then we vacuum up and get ready to coat with the Ezy Poly. Now, one of the considerations that we have to look at today with Ezy Poly is, or any top coat or polyurethane that you choose to use over the top, is that we've got a part of this floor is in the sun and will be at a different temperature to the back of the floor. So we're dealing with two different floor with two different parameters here. So we just need to be aware that the front, depending on how hot the surface is, may require a slightly different approach to the back. But we manage that as we go.
Now you mentioned scraping on the floor there.
Yes.
You'll see some people will talk about wanting to sand a flake. What's your sort of take on your preference for scraping versus sanding and the differences?
Okay, my take on that is I usually talk to the client first to try and understand what sort of finish they would prefer on their garage floor. I have a standard finish, but I do give the client an option whether they want it a bit smoother or a bit rougher or a bit more slip resistance, depending on their needs in the garage. For example, if it's a steep access into the garage, you don't want too smooth a garage floor, otherwise when you put the brakes on your car, nothing's going to happen. They're coming off from the rain and you'll go straight through the wall. Alternatively, you don't want it too rough because it does become quite hard to clean.
Yep.
So over the years we've got a balance where we've got a texture that is my standard finish, which is got some texture, a level of slip resistance, and can be still mopped. And I've had that slip tested, and that meets the Australian standard for flooring in garages. Well and truly meets it.
Very good. Now we have also talked previously about certain slabs, whether they're undulating and whether that's going to cause you problems if you try to sand a floor. So the more forgiving floor is where you're scraping as you're doing today, that'll handle the undulations better?
Yeah, the undulations do present some problems, and they are common to most floors to varying degrees. And by undulations we mean hollows. The effect of scraping, sometimes the scraping doesn't get into the hollows, and the flake has got more texture there when it's finished. This can be overcome by using scrapers with different widths, a bit more pressure, or we will run a small sanding unit over the whole floor to get a more consistent finish. I'm all about getting a finish that when you look at it, it looks quite consistent across the whole floor.
From any angle, everywhere.
From any angle.
That's it.
And it's quite hard to do if you're on a floor that's got a lot of undulations or ripples in it.
Very good.
Yes.
And if you've got that style of floor, so you use Ezy Poly urethanes, particularly in this example, and you'll show it here. So what sort of advantages do you see with Ezy Poly over potentially an undulating floor and so forth versus other materials that you've used in the past?
One of the benefits I see with Ezy Poly is that its viscosity is such that, being 100% solids, when you've finished rolling out Ezy Poly, what you see is what you get. And whereas other top coats that I have used, they may require 2, sometimes 3 coats to get the same result. And we have to deal with a solvent smell. Ezy Poly, there is no smell. It leaves a brilliant finish, as we'll see on this floor, and it's as tough as old boots.
And you've got the time to re-roll if you need to, if you're looking at it from different angles?
Absolutely. The thing with this product is, once again, over other products that I've used, we have a good length of time to re-roll and make sure that we've got an even film of 130 to 150 microns over the whole floor. And that makes all the difference when it's finished.
That's a key point if it's a one-coat system, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Beautiful.